Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good morning.
Well, sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Madam, let us start.
Yes, sir. Very good morning to one and all attending this national webinar. We begin with the national webinar. I, Dr. Leena Mishram, on behalf of Mahatma Phule AC College, welcome you all for this webinar, which is jointly organized by Department of Geography and Rural Development in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell. The title of today's webinar is Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Tourism. Thank you all for joining this through live Zoom. And we are also live on YouTube and Facebook, and the link is provided on the Telegram. So you all can connect us to different webcasts. It is my honor and privilege to welcome today's resource person, Dr. D.V. Pawar sir, Principal, Kirti College, Mumbai. I welcome keynote speaker, Dr. Prabir Kumar Rath, Associate Professor in Geography, Government College, Khandola, Goa. I welcome Honorable Principal, Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir, Vice Principal, Korane sir, Vice Principal, Madhvi sir. I also welcome the academicians, research scholars from all over the country. I welcome the organizers who has given us the platform to attend this webinar, Mr. Sopan Gove, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Ramesh Mhatre sir, convener of this webinar and head of Rural Development Department, Vice Principal Dr. Rajaram Patil sir, who is also the organizing secretary and head of Geography Department. I also welcome all the technician team who is being taking the efforts for this webinar. The most dynamic sector is tourism industry that benefits many other sectors like airline industry, hotels management, lodging catering and entertainment, etc. The Indian tourism industry has created around 87.5 million jobs and thereby contributing to 194 billion of Indian GDP. But COVID-19 pandemic has massively affected the tourism industry as many countries have been introduced a travel ban and travel restrictions in an attempt to stop the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has not only affected economically but also politically and socially. With the rise in number of COVID-19 positive cases throughout the nation, certain measures are taken like social distancing, lockdown, stay home, quarantine, etc., which has built a lot of pressure for halting the tourism industry. According to a research paper, it is estimated that around 40 millions direct and indirect job loss in India will happen, and also an annual loss of revenue of around 17 billion US dollars in India. So such a great loss to a country. Hence, in this scenario, this webinar gives us a platform to discuss the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on tourism and redefine new policies, new norms, new strategies in the new normal post-COVID era. Looking the need of time, the organizers has aptly organized this particular webinar, national webinar on impact of COVID-19 pandemic on tourism industry. It's my honor and privilege to welcome our principal, Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir. member of Managing Council, and ex-secretary of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, a prominent academician and excellent administrator, honored with numerous prestigious awards, including Best Principal Award, and also we received the Best College Award in his guidance, under his guidance. He is also a receiver of Kokan Ratna Puraskar, Raigad Bhushan Puraskar. I request Honorable Principal to deliver a welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good morning to everyone. At the outset, I pay my tribute to great social reformer and visionary educationist Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Karmavir Bhaurao Patil for their sacrifice and selfless service to the masses. Dignitaries present online for this national webinar, keynote speaker Dr. Prabir Kumar, Government College Khandola, Marcela, Resource Person Principal Dr. D.V. Pawar, Kirti Dongarsi College, Mumbai, Vice Principals of our college, Mr. G.J. Korane, Dr. R.A. Patil, Dr. N.R. Madvi, Coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Mr. Sopan Gove, Organizing Secretary and Head Department of Geography, Dr. Rajaram Patil, Convener and Head Department of Rural Development, Dr. R.P. Mhatre, all the participants from various states of India, faculty members, research scholars, and dear students. It is my extreme pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Mahatma Phule Arts, Science and Commerce College, Panvel, for this national webinar jointly organized Geography and Rural Development in collaboration with IQAC on the topic Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Tourism. Friends, our college is affiliated to University of Mumbai and run by Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, which is one of the largest educational institute in Asia. Our parent institution basically works for overall development of lowest strata of the society by uplifting their educational standard. Our founder, Bhaurao Paigonda Patil, was honored with Padma Bhushan Award by central government and Doctor of Letters degree by Pune University for his outstanding contribution in the field of education. Our college was established in 1970 with a vision to provide quality education to all classes of the society. And we are marching ahead with the same principles to achieve excellence in the field of higher education. It is a matter of pride to mention that our college completed 50 years to its establishment in June 2020. Our quest for excellence is reflected through some of our outstanding achievements in the recent past. A grade in third cycle of NAC accreditation with CGPA score of 3.18, Best College Award from University of Mumbai, Karmavir Puraskar from our parent institution, Government of Maharashtra successive prizes in Zagar Janivancha Abhiyan project, ISO 9001-2015 certification from International Accreditation Forum. The distinctive features of our college are college campus blessed with natural beauty, 80% enrolled students belongs to backward class category, PhD research centers in chemistry, Hindi and business economics, good number of published patents, soil analysis lab approved by Agricultural Department of Government of Maharashtra, and sophisticated analytical instrument facility at Department of Chemistry. It reminds me a famous quotation of Albert Einstein, in the middle of every difficulty lies an opportunity. We worked on the same line to utilize COVID-19 pandemic for the organization of academic activity. We successfully organized in all 22 webinars in this challenging period, which includes international, national, and regional level webinars. The theme of webinars were related to impact of COVID-19 pandemic on different sectors. I must appreciate all members of organizing committee and technical team for their sincere efforts and hard work for the organization of this national webinar. Dear academicians, tourism contributes 5.06% in India's gross domestic product. The ongoing pandemic, travel restrictions, and countrywide lockdown the entire tourism industry to a standstill, and unlike other sectors, tourism will take longer to recover, especially leisure tourism. This will have a direct impact on states like Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, Goa, Sikkim, and other northeastern states which depend extensively on tourism as a source of state revenue. The Indian tourism industry employs 875 crore people, that is about 12.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
The sector also has a strong forward and backward linkages to other sectors such as agriculture, transport, handloom, and fast-moving consumer goods. Disruptions in tourism sector has a strong impact on employment, resulting in unemployment of the peoples in large number. Fifth, a policy federation of associations of tourism and hospitality industry has estimated a loss of rupees 10 lakh crore for the industry due to COVID-19 pandemic. This will also impact inflow of foreign tourists, which means a drastic fall in foreign exchange earning, which was close to rupees 2,10,981 crores. India is yet to address the concerns of the tourism sector. Interestingly, the global scenario is completely different. The European Union has provided benefits in the form of liquidity support, fiscal relief, and easing of state aid rules for those in the tourism business and is currently considering a tourism recovery plan. Italy, one of the most affected country by COVID-19, has recently announced a 4 billion euros bailout package for tourism. The French government too has announced an 18 billion euros Marshall Plan for tourism. Similarly, South Africa has initiated a relief package of approximately $11 million exclusively for micro, small, and medium enterprises in the hospitality and tourism sector. Countries such as US, UK, and Singapore have initiated focused efforts to revive tourism. India's lack of focus on tourism and its noticeable absence from the recovery package is both surprising and disappointing. To improve the flow.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Please unmute yourself.
The central government should consider tweaking norms under tourism infrastructure development scheme so that states may utilize funds under such schemes to develop health and safety infrastructure to ensure minimum chances of transmission of communicable diseases in the future. The government should consider supporting the hotel and restaurant industry by subsidizing their fixed costs. Additionally, applications and renewal of licensing fees should be remitted for at least a year and kept at minimum for the next 2 years for all such businesses. State governments should consider waiving certain critical charges such as property tax and interstate transport taxes for a fixed period of time. electricity and water charges for homestay owners should be billed at residential rates instead of commercial rates. All state governments should look to create a state-run e-commerce platforms which will allow sale of state-specific cottage industry products and provide the necessary market connect to consumers. Tourism industry has an excellent time to develop a common safety and sanitation standard for hosting and serving its customers. The industry must also utilize this opportunity to adopt ecological waste disposal practices and adopt environment-friendly day-to-day practices. It is quite evident that the tourism sector in India needs a redoubled and renewed push for its revival in the post-COVID-19 world. The government must consider an immediate recovery package and plan that focuses on tourism sector, not just because it is one of the worst affected, but also because it is arguably the largest source of employment and source of income for many micro, small, and medium enterprises. I'm sure that the keynote speaker of the webinar, Dr. Prabir Kumar Rath from Goa, and the resource person, Dr. D.V. Pawar from Mumbai, will enlighten us with their scholarly talk on the theme of the webinar. I am really grateful to all the participants for their overwhelming response to all the webinars organized by our college. I am confident that all the participants will cooperate to make this webinar too a grand success. Before I conclude, once again, I welcome you all for this national webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a warm welcome. I also thank all the participants. We can see there are near about 220 participants who has connected through the Zoom, and also hundreds of them are live with us on YouTube and Facebook. So I request all the participants to keep their mic mute so that it will go without any disturbance. I again request all the participants to mute their mic so that the resource persons will not have any disturbance during the schedule. It's my really a privilege to introduce today's keynote speaker, Dr. Prabir Kumar Rath. Dr. Prabir Kumar Rath is working as Associate Professor of Geography at Government College, Khandola, Goa. From last 27 years, his academic areas of interest are regional planning, population geography, sustainable development, and tourism studies. Prior to working in the college, he worked as JRF in Department of Geography, Bombay University at that time. He's completed his MPhil from Mumbai and also has completed his PhD from University of Mumbai in year May 1999. He has presented more than 60 research papers in topic related to sustainable development, mining, regional planning, tourism, environment, research methodology, etc. in various international and national seminars, as well state level and national level conferences. He has published more than 18 research papers in different journals and proceedings and volumes. Dr. Rath has assessed more than 45 PhD theses and MPhil dissertations from several Indian universities, including Mumbai University, Rajasthan University, Pune University, Nagpur, Sant Gadge Maharaj, Amravati University, Jalgaon University. He has edited 13 volumes of ISSN research journal, The Goa Geographers, as working editor, and published and edited books on population and environment in 2005. He is ex-chairman of Board of Studies in Goa University. Dr. Rath has also been external member of BOS of other universities like Jivaji University, Gwalior. He has held notable positions as President, Secretary, and Working Editor of Geographers Association, Goa. Sir has been invited and is an active listed list of invited speaker in most of the Indian universities like Aligarh University, Varanasi, Gorakhpur, Madura MKU, Madura University, Rajasthan, Jaipur, and all over the country. He has delivered lectures and rendered his service as resource person at refresher course at Academic Staff College of Goa and also in Pune University. He has traveled almost all the nook and corner of the country, from Ladakh to Kanyakumari and Mizoram, in the extreme northeast to Somnath and Diu. Dr. P.K. Rath is academically well known among most of the geographers of the nation, besides some notable international geographers and demographers. Sir has contributed to Indian geography. He is well appreciated and known for his simplicity, compassion, and care for all ages of researchers and every section of society. Sir, it's really a pleasure to have you in this national webinar. I welcome and I request Dr. Prabir Raj sir to deliver the keynote address. Over to you, sir. So kindly unmute yourself, Dr. Prabir Raj sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
And my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Sharon is there.
Your PPT is not there.
One second. My PPT is coming.
No, sir.
Oh, just 1 second.
Share your
Not yet, sir.
PPT, sir.
Yeah. Just let the screen come, then I'll start speaking.
And now it is visible, sir.
Yes. One. Is it visible?
Yeah.
It is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. Respected Principal Thakur sir, my senior brother, Dr. D.V. Power sir, who is the resource person of today, then Mr. Sopan Gove sir, Dr. Matre sir, Dr. Rajaram Patil, Dr. Lina ma'am, and all the participants who are there, including some of my students and colleagues who have joined this webinar. So at the outset, let me be very humble to tell the address, the inaugural address which is given by Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir, the principal of the college, has belittled our effort. He has told each and everything which we are supposed to tell. I do not know, there will be a lot of overlaps. Please forgive me for that, because he has touched upon all the intricate issues of tourism, the stoppage of tourism due to the lockdown, due to the fear of this COVID-19, and what a havoc this COVID-19 has played on tourism sector. When welcome to the keynote presentation. I would not say keynote address because seniors are there. So I'm a small man, and let me be very humble. It is a keynote presentation. So the topic which has been given to me, which was very attractive to me, is the impact of COVID-19 on tourism with special reference to Goa. As friends, you can see the screen. I'm a tour addict. I do not have any other bad habits other than moving to different places. I'm really tour addict, and I'm proud to say that. So few glimpses I put here. The last one, which with folded hands, that is the visit to a tourism mart, then Gangotri, then Yamunotri. Then there are different places. I would not tell which places I have seen. I have seen most part of almost all the parts of India except Lakshadweep. So when this topic was given to me, I felt it is very nice for me. At the outset, let me appreciate and let me be obliged to Principal Thakur sir who has given the glorious history of the college, glorious achievements of this college, and I am lucky enough to have been given this privilege of speaking to a learned audience from different parts of the country. Friends, WTO, that is World Trade Organization, it says that tourism is a leisure activity for relaxation, for rejuvenation, for mind, body, and our soul. It is to de-stress. De-stress in the sense, whatever stress we have in our life, we visit different places so that we forget the agonies of our life, we forget the troubles of our life, and enjoy the newness in the places of visit. Suppose somebody from Maharashtra comes to Goa. He understands the beauty of Goa, he appreciates the beauty of Goa, and he forgets the stress which he or she has undergone in Maharashtra. Similarly, a person from Goa, when he or she visits Himachal Pradesh, he enjoys the beauty of Himachal Pradesh, the vegetation, the snow, the lifestyle of the people, and he forgets the agonies, the miseries which he or she is having in Goa. So it is like that. This is one of the largest source of earning for the people all over the world. And tourism was growing at a very fast rate in this century, from the beginning of this century, from 2001 onwards, because people forgot that keeping ornaments at home, buying lands at different places, depositing too much of money in the bank is not going to take them anywhere. What is required is the peace of mind, the pleasure of our soul. So people started visiting different places. In tourism history of tourism, we have learned that only the elites used to move. But during this century, we have seen the distressed people, the students, the workers, everybody was visiting different places for different purposes. Some of them were going to religious places, some of them were going for holidaying, some of them were going for different purposes. Purposes might be different, but everybody wanted to get rid of the monotony of life. All these things were happening so nicely till last year, January, February. Then the fear of this pandemic came. First, it started in one country, then it moved to few more countries, and few more countries were blamed for spreading. But I think today the whole world realizes that it is nobody's business to spread. Nobody had any interest to spread. Nobody intentionally or unintentionally spread it. So it emerged. It emerged in one country, and by biological phenomenon, it has spread to all parts of the world today. And some countries, they suffered far more than some other countries. Like India, we are a vast nation with diversified population, with so many things and so many natural beauties. And India can be told as the museum of tourism because we have everything. So WTO was doing great things, but because of this pandemic, everybody's effort has come down. Now, role of tourism, I would not tell every one of us know that international and domestic tourism, it brings the foreign exchanges, it brings the foreign good culture, it brings the heterogeneity in a country. All these things are happening, and so many travel agencies which are facilitating us to visit different countries. Many of them, they collapsed with, earlier before this, but due to this pandemic, almost all the travel agencies, they have near collapsed. Okay, so this pandemic has irreversibly and badly hit the hotel industry, as a result of which many people have lost their sources of income. Another very important part in the tourism is transport sector, where taxis they run, the airport, the flights, the railways, the ships or the navigation. There are globetrotters, okay, who used to go for cruise for months together. They all have been deprived of a job, and we all have been deprived of a pleasure in our life. So all the modes of transport have been very badly hit, whether it is railways, road networks, air transport across the world. In some countries it is too much, in some countries it is little lesser. Tourism industry has stimulated the growth of hotels and guest houses of all categories, starting from the free accommodation to the 7-star accommodation, catering to the needs of different sections of the tourist. These hotels and guest houses are spread all over the world, all across the nations, in all the states, more concentrated along the beaches and tourist pockets around the towns and cities. The wide network of hotels, guest houses, and related services have provided a assured source of living to more than 1% of the population of the world, and more than 2 million hotel employees at different levels, drawing from all over India and even from other countries. The hotel employees comprises of different ranks, starting the apex ones are known as CEOs, chief executive officers, or chief administrative officers, general managers, section managers, at higher levels, and at the lower level, sanitation and cleaning staff. The hotel industry also have generated employment for more than similar number, that is more than 2 million in the transport sector as the vehicle owners, transport operators, drivers, cleaners, garage maintenance people, and transport agents. Tourism and hotel industries cannot be separated from each other because they provide the accommodation at a place when the person visits. So different people are there at different level. I have just given a some small glimpse of it. The owners, the board of directors, chief executive officers, managers, etc., etc. And then there are global chains of hotels, national chains of hotels, corporate hotels, isolated hotels, and star hotels. And on the contrary, we have also budget hotels, where we, the teachers, used to take our students and give them the glimpse of the places, give them a diversified knowledge to our students. And I'm very badly disturbed because of this, because as a teacher, my duty was to cater to the needs of the students. Today, I am helpless because I'm not taking my students anywhere out. So this is my personal agony also, which must be happening with every one of us. There are so many travel agencies, tour operators, like big ones, which I told, Thomas Cook, Cox and Kings, Kesari Travels, and the operators, facilitators rather, OYOs, Make My Trip, GoEvigo, Yatra.com, etc., etc. There are so many travel booking agencies, travel agents, tour operators, front office staff in the hotels, travel desk in the hotels, like taxi owners, operators, drivers, hospitality management, various categories till the sanitation staff, and restaurants, which was one of the great attraction for every one of us, testing different type of food, testing different type of menus, etc. Now it has come to a standstill. And restaurants involve the people's earning through supply of goods, through helping, through cooking, serving personnel, room attendants, table attendants, cleaning staff, sanitation staff, and security staff. There are so many ancillary tourism activities like casinos, water sports, casinos, water sports, paragliding, snow biking, camel rides, horse rides, animal safaris, adventure tourism activities like bungee jumping, hunting, gaming zones, massage parlor, so many. And there are some countries where this system of rent a car, rent a bike, escort staff, indirect dependents like suppliers, maintenance staff. Okay, so all these employees have been very badly hit from May 2020 till November 2020, where tourism was almost zero in most of the countries, not only in India, in most of the countries. Now, whatever I am speaking before this learned audience, this is based on the secondary data which has been obtained from various journals, various publications, various web-based sources, and very importantly, the newspapers. Because newspapers reflect, they are acting as the mirror of our society, mirror of our day-to-day situation. The hotel industries had come to a standstill, as Professor Thakur had said, Principal Sir. So he has given a world perspective in how, which countries, how it has happened, and those countries, what type of measures they have been taking. So India has to learn a lot of lessons from them, and we have to consider that this sector, which was employing a lot of people, should revive sooner or later. So this lockdown, restrictions, and fear of travel, contacting the disease has dissuaded everyone in the society to restrict their travels. Because of paucity of time, I will go a little faster. I will not talk anything which are basics. So in India, as Principal Thakur sir had already told, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Goa, Sikkim, northeastern states, these are the states which have been very badly hit by this pandemic. So 40% of our population of these places, they depend on the tourism directly or indirectly. And 70% of the tourism related jobs have been lost as a result of the corona effect, because the employers, they are not in a position to pay. When the income is not there for them to earn, it is almost impossible to pay for them. And then they have been taking a little hard stand. They are cutting the salaries, they are retrenching people, etc. So this is obvious thing which every one of us knows. Categories of hotels in the world, starting from the 7-star, 5-star to simple dormitories where we pay about 20-30 rupees in different temples, chatrasalas and dharamsalas. So hardships for the employers and the employees. Friends, as I told in the last few sentences, that the hotels, most of them, they run on leased premises. Forget about the first 5-star hotels. Otherwise, most of them, they run on leased premises, and for which the rent is quite high. Rent is very high. And when there is no earning, payment of EMI, payment of the rent has become very, very difficult. And many of them have been told to vacate the premises. So earlier, the salary was very, very attractive in the hotel sectors. The lowest person was getting somewhere around 15 to 20,000 a month before the lockdown. And it was as high as 3 to 4 lakhs for the CEOs in many of the hotels. Then came the phases of despair. Despair in the sense where everybody lost every hopes. So up to June 20th, 2020 June, somehow the hotels, they managed to pay their employees thinking that one day it will revive. But God forbid, nothing happened. After June to September, almost there was nil income in most of the hotels all over the world. As Professor Thakur was saying, that in some countries they started, but then again the second phase of their COVID started, and then they had to stop. They had to bring further lockdowns. So by August, the hopes were lost, and in December, a radical change happened. What happened in December was people said, "Let anything happen, we will go." So this attitude slightly revived the tourism sector all over the world, because December is the month where the Western countries, they celebrate, they enjoy a lot, and that month they could not control themselves under the suffocation, under the restrictions of their countries. And many people came to the street to protest the lockdowns, the restrictions, because they wanted to celebrate that December month, which is a holy month, of course, for the Christianity. So many of them, they defied the rules and then they came. Here in India, also it changed. In many, like many tourists, they visited Himachal Pradesh, they visited Goa, they visited Kerala, wherever they could, wherever they found that some restrictions have been eased, okay, where this home isolation was the only thing, where there are positive cases, no quarantine, no forced paid quarantine, and all those things happened. So the employees of the hotels, what did they do? When they lost the job, what did they do? They were ready to work as MNREJ worker in our country. In other countries, they gave them some unemployment allowances also, so that the people do not commit suicides. They do not leave hope, they live in the society. So future plans has to be very concertedly done. State governments, central government, in different countries, they have to come together. Federal government, they have to come together, and then they have to provide the revival plans. As Professor Thakur has already told, that many countries, they have already revival plans, and revival plans not in words. They have given financial aid and assistance. They waived the license fee. They waived the rent for some time, and so on and so forth. So my suggestions would be that hotel employees, their skills could be used, paying them at least survival allowance, like in India, 300 rupees per day to a person. Because I have come across families where all the full family members were working in hotels, 5-star hotels, and their income is to be in lakhs. They were moving in four-wheelers. Almost all the family members were moving in four-wheelers. But from August, they were ready to work as MNREG worker. So we can understand the misery of the people. So now another big problem is that those who are retrenched, earlier what used to happen, they used to migrate to different states, or they used to migrate to different countries, wherever there are chances of employment. But the pandemic is a global phenomenon, therefore there is nowhere to go. So people are in despair. The conclusion is it has affected both the section of our tourism sector on the host, that means the countries or the states, the places where the tourists used to visit. So there they have seen great loss of jobs, great loss of economy to the nation, and it is one of the very important industry in the states, which Professor Thakur has already told, which I have reiterated, and many natives and migrants are working at different levels. So the COVID has lost their livelihood. Then on the contrary, the guests also have not suffered less. That means the visitors, the tour addict like me, the people who wanted to visit religious places, natural spots, adventure sports, wherever they wanted to visit. What are the things? First one is the uncertainty everywhere. Nobody knows if he or she goes, whether he or she would come back by the same mode of transport. How long the lockdown will happen? Surprising lockdowns are happening in most of the countries. Then, of course, the families, they are having a fear towards the health hazards, and cost also has increased. The railway cost in India has multiplied. The airfare has increased everywhere in the world. Limited choice of travel, because till now there are a lot of local restrictions on the travel. Then staying, many times the hotels are dissuading. Many times we are also scared to take small hotels, budget hotels, because there are chances of infection, contamination, so and so forth. And movements also are restricted. We can't visit all the places, all the tourism related enjoyments. So too much of surveillance also. What is the surveillance? Going and reporting here, signing there, taking temperature. Tourism is a pleasure activity. And when you are under so much of restriction, so much of surveillance, nobody would like to visit. Privacy has been completely lost. Then more dangerous than that is the taboos by the locals at the destinations as carriers of virus. And it is so nice for every one of us to blame others. So and so came and contaminated our society, contacted virus. So like in the second phase of this COVID-19, there was a that England has spread it, South Africa has spread it. Now it is found in USA. Today's newspaper itself, I saw that USA has got the second strain. So it is very nice to blame others, but God forbid what happens in future, we do not know. Many sectors of tourism close even today. Slowly they are emerging, like cinema halls, swimming pools. Those were the attractions for the people. Okay, wildlife safaris. Wildlife safaris again came in contact with this our bird flu. Recently, there was in between a fear of bird flu. So due to that, again, wildlife tourism also had stopped, where nature lovers, the wildlife lovers used to visit. So risk of getting affected at the destination is one fear, and spreading after coming back in our own home is another fear. Because of this, the guests have been affected very badly. Now, last but not the least, what happened for the people who are daredevils? That they adopted a cage out approach. Cage out approach means when somebody is put inside the cage and for a long time, and the cage is opened, he or she doesn't know where to go, what to do. The birds, the animals. So our behavior has somewhat like this. So revival is the only hope after elimination of this virus. The following part is about the Goa's attractions. When I'm from Goa, everybody must have expected little bit of glimpses of Goa. So we'll go to that very fast. So Goa is a land of beaches, churches. So this is the introduction to Goa, where it is situated, everyone knows. And this seminar is for rural development and the geography national seminar. So every one of us know about it. But Goa as a place, it is the melting pot between the Western culture and the traditional Indian culture. The attractions in Goa are beaches, waterfalls, picnic spots, film shootings, venues, event management destinations, greenery, adventure tourism, trekking, watching, bird watching, water bodies, good host. People of Goa are really good hosts. People's acceptance in Goa, variety of food and cuisines, drinks and beverages, hot beverages, cold beverages, etc., etc. Then boat cruise, which is another important thing. Nightlife, where the youths are more attracted, and North Goa has found a place in the world map, okay, as a nightlife, active nightlife. Then rides and drives, hiring vehicles, excellent climatic balance, because Goa is neither too hot, never it is too cold. So topographical diversity also one can see. We can see river, water bodies, etc., which has promoted water sports, art and architecture of the mixed blends of Oriental world and the European structures. Finally, it is a place for all regions and for all seasons. So this is the map of Goa, and different type of tourist spots are shown. The famous beaches in Goa, how the life goes in Goa. So for the children, the cells are there, for the elders playing, and for the adventure lovers, there are parachuting, paragliding. Kalangut beach is one of the most famous beach. Then we have Arambol beach, Siridam beach, which is very near to Panjim. Then there are waterfalls. The Dudhsagar waterfall is the most attractive place where people go, and one can view this Dudhsagar waterfall from while moving by train. There are also trekking activities towards Dudhsagar waterfall, and there are arranged trips to Dudhsagar waterfall. Another waterfall is Arvalem waterfall, which is in the middle part of the Goa, midland Goa. So in the Bicholin Taluka. Then churches are another beautiful attractions in Goa because of their fame, because of their structure, because of their peace march, and because of their message of peace. So Mount Jesus Basilica, which is the citadel of the patron saint of Saint Francis Xavier, where his relics have been kept more than 500 years and without any preservative, which is a wonder to the whole world. Then a beautiful church opposite to that basilica is St. Cathedral Church in Old Goa. Goa is also famous for the different type of forts, coastal forts, interior forts, and mostly riverfront forts. So there are many of them. Some leading ones are Aguada Fort. Aguada Fort means freshwater storage forts. So it was used as a lighthouse from jail. Then Kavadi Rama Fort. It is believed that Lord Rama had visited that fort in that area. So it is known as Kavadi Rama Fort, which is in South Goa. Goa is also a place of beautiful temples, well-maintained, very decorative temples, very well-disciplined temples. So this is the glimpse of that. And Mangesi Temple is one such temple where the visitors love to visit, which is also the birthplace of Lata Mangeshkar, the Nightingale of India. And other tourist attractions are the museums at different places. There are 2 museums in Old Goa. There are many more museums in Panjim, Madgaon, Rasol. Goa also is a beautiful place for the wildlife. Okay, natural wildlife. There are 2 wildlife sanctuaries, and 1 sanctuary is allowed for everyone. That is Bondla Wildlife Sanctuary. Goa also is a land of fun and frolic. Because of that, a lot of cultural activities goes, different type of dances, different forms of dances, different forms of festivals are celebrated throughout Goa. Everybody knows about the Carnival parade in Goa, which happens in the month of February, March. Then the hotels in Goa are located mostly around the beaches and the towns and cities. There are all categories of hotels. Only thing here I have to mention, free accommodation is not available anywhere in Goa. In North Indian states, there are free accommodations available in dharamsalas. So then the conclusion about Goa, the first part of the presentation was towards the impact, and about Goa, the conclusion is, as I told in the first sentence, Goa is a melting pot of Eastern values and Western modernization. It has opportunities for very poor people to work, very rich people to have privacy. The place has worldwide contacts through, though it is geographically the smallest state in the country, the state has rich biodiversity, agrotourism sites, and cultural diversities. About the agrotourism of the country, Professor Pawar sir will be speaking, and it is a place worthy to visit to believe that Goa is a progressive state. So thank you all for being so nice audience, for dignified listening. Thank you very much. And I'm obliged to the management and the staff of this college, great college, for giving me this opportunity to be with every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful lecture. We were really fortunate to have you, sir, as a keynote speaker. And thank you for the efforts you have taken to make this presentation so simple and interesting for us. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Now I request our Vice Principal, Dr. N.R. Madhvi sir, to introduce the next guest and the resource person of the day, Dr. D.V. Pawar sir, Principal, Kirti College, Dadar. Over to you, sir. Dr. N.R. Madhvi sir. Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Madhvi sir.
Dr. Madhvi, unmute yourself.
Madhvi sir, I request you to introduce our next resource person.
Dr. Madhvi, unmute yourself. Dr. Madhvi.
Okay, now, okay,
Yes,
madam.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, thank
Yes, sir.
you. Okay, good morning to all. It is great pleasure for me to introduce today's resource person, Honorable Principal Dr. D.V. Pawar, who is going to talk to us about agro-tourism. Dr. D.V. Pawar is presently working as a principal of Kirti Dongursi College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Dadar, Mumbai. He is recognized PhD guide in the subject of rural development, University of Mumbai. He is also PhD guide in the subject of sociology, Tilak Maharashtra University, Pune. Under the guidance of Dr. D.V. Pawar, 6 students awarded PhD and 5 students awarded MPhil in the subject of rural development. He is member of Board of Studies in Rural Development, University of Mumbai. Sir has attended and presented research papers in international conferences at New Zealand, Hong Kong, and Thailand. He has published 25 research papers in different journals. Dr. D.V. Pawar worked as a research and recognition committee member for the Board of Studies in Rural Development, University of Mumbai. He is NCC coordinator of University of Mumbai. Sir has written textbooks in the subject of rural development for UG and PG classes for Institute of Distance Education, University of Mumbai. He is life member of Deccan Education Society, Pune. It is such an honor for us to have you today with us. Sir, I welcome you on behalf of Mahatma Phule Arts, Science and Commerce College, Panvel. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning to one and all. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Can you see the PPT also, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we
Okay,
can.
thank you, madam. At the outset, I thanks for the principal, Dr. Ganesh Thakur, sir, then Accuracy Committee of the Panvel College for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts on the agro-tourism. As in the introduction, Thakur sir said, Dr. D.V. Pawar is a scholar and expert, sir, but I am not a scholar, I am not an expert, but just I am a student of rural development, and still I feel I am a student. And therefore, just I am going to share my thoughts regarding the agro-tourism, which is actually related to rural development. So in my presentation, this is the content actually, just the introduction, then features and principles of the agro-tourism, then what are the foundations, or we can say what are the requirements if anybody want to start the agro-tourism, then benefits of the agro-tourism, and then regarding the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on agriculture, I will not say anything because in the introduction as well as the keynote speaker, Dr. Rath sir has given in detail. So I will not speak on that topic. So just in today's era of the liberalization and globalization, travel and tourism is extensively recognized as an important civil industry worldwide, which provides a major potential for economic growth and development. Tourism is termed as an instrument for employment generation as well as the poverty alleviation and sustainable human development. As sir mentioned, due to the tourism industry, there can be many types of job opportunities can be generated at the local level or national level. Agriculture is the primary main sector of the Indian economy. As everybody knows, about 60 to 70% still our population is dependent on agriculture. So the main source of income is still in India is the agriculture. Then agrotourism is in such form of the tourism which has recently emerged in Maharashtra. Compared to other industries, we can say this agrotourism is developed recently. Then just I have given the 2-3 concepts of the agrotourism. Agrotourism as involves the accommodation being offered in the farmhouse or in a separate guest house, providing meals and organizing guest activities in the observation and participation in the framing operation. And this concept or this definition is given by the World Tourism Organization. Then agrotourism is considered as a range activities, services, and amenities provided by the farmer and rural people to attract tourists to their areas in order to generate extra income for their business. Agrotourism is also is that agribusiness activity when a native farmer or we can say the local farmers or person of the area offers tools to their agricultural farm to allow a person to view them growing, harvesting, and processing locally grown foods such as coconuts, sugarcane, corn, or any other agricultural produce would not encounter in their city or home country. Often the farmers would provide a homestay opportunity and education. So these are the few concepts regarding the agriculture, agrotourism. The next, I have taken the point, what are the various features of the agrotourism? If we compare with the rural tourism or agrotourism with the urban tourism, basically agrotourism is the cheap. The cost of food, accommodation, recreation, and travel is less in agrotourism. This widens the tourist base. Due to the cheap rate, maximum tourists can be attracted to the agrotourism. Present concept of travel and tourism is limited to urban and rich class, which constitute only a small portion of the population. Which in tourism, who can afford it? So very less population, or we can say those are the rich people, they can travel abroad or they can enjoy the tourism. But that is not case in the agrotourism. The even poor people or who have the low income, they can participate or they can enjoy the agrotourism. However, the concept agrotourism takes travel and tourism to the larger population, widening the scope of tourism due to the cost effectiveness. Then curiosity about the farming industry and lifestyle. The urban population having roots in village always had a curiosity to learn about the source of food, plants, animals, raw materials like wood, handicrafts, language, culture, tradition, dresses, and rural lifestyle. So agritourism, which revolves around farmers, villages, and agriculture, has capacity to satisfy the curiosity of the segment of population. As we see, the maximum urban peoples or urban children, then whole family can enjoy the agrotourism because in city we can say in the hotel or in anywhere the whole family will not enjoy the entertainment, but that is not case in the agrotourism. Villages provide the recreational opportunities to all the age group, that is children, young people's, middle age, and old age, male or female, in total to the whole family at the cheaper cost. Rural games, festivals, food, dress, and the nature provide the variety of entertainment to the entire family. When compared with the nature, actually modern lifestyle has made life stressful and average lifespan has come down. Hence, People are in contact search of pro nature means to make life more peaceful. So where we will get the peaceful atmosphere? I think in the rural area or in the agro center only. Then desire to peace and tranquility. Modern life is a product of diversified thinking and diversified activities. Every individual attempts to work more in different directions to earn more money to enjoy modern comforts. Hence, the peace is always out of his system. Tourism is a means for searching peaceful location, as Raj also mentioned in the regarding in his keynote address. Everybody wants the peace in this world, but where will get the peaceful? That is in the rural area or in the agro-tourism only. Then interest in the natural environment. Busy urban population is learning towards the nature because natural environment is always away from busy life. Birds, animals, crops, mountains, water bodies. Village provides totally different atmosphere to urban population in which they can forget their busy urban life. Then in resorts and cities, overcrowded peace seeks to disturb each other's peace. Hence, the peace is beyond cities and resort. Even thought, even though efforts are made to create village atmosphere in the suburban areas, through resorts, farmhouses, it looks like the distant replica of the original. So regarding the filling of the villages, filling of the village, everybody is actually deep in the heart of the urbanities lies to love and respect to their ancestors and villages. Agritourism centers satisfy their desire to visit village, to live, enjoy, and rural lifestyle. Regarding the educational values, agritourism could create the awareness about the rural life and knowledge about the agriculture science among urban school children. It provides the best alternative for school picnics, which are urban based. It provides the opportunity for hands-on experience for urban, even college students in agriculture. As we are aware of that, our subject is the rural development, and when we take the students to the rural area for the visits, maybe the agriculture university, maybe some NGOs, but there also students are enjoying with the experience. It means for providing the training to the future farmers, it would be effectively used as an educational and training tool to train the agriculture and line department officers. This provides unique opportunity for education through the recreation where learning is fun, effective, and easy. Seeing is billing, doing is learning. The experience-based concept is actually agrotourism. Then next, is it I am audible? Is it okay up to here? Hello, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next slide is regarding the what are the basic principles of the agrotourism. So if anybody wants to start agrotourism, what should be the kept in mind actually? So just there are the three principles of the agrotourism. First, I have mentioned have something to see. Maybe because in the agrotourism, maximum your client are going to come from the urban area. So they should be able to see animals, birds, farms and nature are few things which agri-tourism could offer to the tourist. Apart from these, culture, dress festivals and rural games would create enough interest among the visitors in the agrotourism. Then next is the have something to do. Participating agriculture operations, swimming, bullock cart riding, camel riding, buffalo riding, cooking and participating in the rural games are the few activities to quote in which tourists can take part and enjoy. Means if the tourists are getting the participation, maybe now in the cities we are traveling by car, four-wheeler, two-wheelers, but we are not traveling by the bullock cart. Okay. But if we provide them bullock cart, and if we charge for them 100 rupees, 50 rupees, they will pay for that. Okay. Because just that is the rural look you can see or you can say. So you have to do something or some other activities also, maybe the harvesting, like I will give you so many examples actually. If you see the Savage Nursery Farm, which developed the Tarfa agrotourism, and if you touch to the chikus, okay, or if you pick up the chikus, they will not charge for that, but for the students are enjoying that activity. So I want to say visitors should be do something in that agrotourism center. The next, have something to do with just visitors to buy rural crafts, dress materials, farm, get fresh agriculture products, processed foods are the few items which tourists can buy as a memento for remembrance. Correct? No, means when we go anywhere for the tourist, we generally buy, and generally we are not buying for us. Okay, we generally buying from friends, relatives. Okay, something should we are buying to the as a gift. Okay, and therefore at the tourist center there should be something to buy to the visitors. Then I think maximum visitors will visit to our agro-tourism center. Uh, Next is the who can start? Who can start the agro-tourism center? The individual farmers can start the agro-tourism center who have minimum of 2 hectares of land. Suppose at the individual level, I want to start the agro-tourism center. If the 2 hectares of land means, I will say about 5 acres of land. Okay, 5 acres of land. If the 5 acres of land is there, and I want to start at the individual level, I think I can start this agro-tourism center. Then farmhouse water resources and is interested to enter the tourist. Apart from the individual farmer, agriculture cooperative institutions, non-government organizations, agriculture universities and agriculture colleges may start their centers. Even Gram Panchayat can start the centers in their operational areas with the help of villagers and farmers. I think the Gram Panchayat may be the new concept, okay, because still we have not observed anywhere, but Gram Panchayat can start in their operational areas and they can develop the tourist center and the revenue can be increased. Maybe the one of the source as a revenue for the Gram Panchayat. So even if you want to start, I think individual level, then agriculture universities, generally we visit to the agriculture universities. As in Maharashtra, there are 4 agriculture universities. As a student of rural development, every year they are visiting to the agriculture universities to see what are the new techniques, new innovation is there, exhibitions are there, and therefore even universities, agriculture universities can start the agro tourism. Then next is the what are the requirements actually? If I want to start the agro-tourism, what are the requirements for the required? I have classified into 2 slides, that is the infrastructure facilities and facilities to be provided to the tourist. So first, in the infrastructure facilities, we can say accommodation facilities as same place as alliance with the nearest hotel. And if the accommodation, maybe the rural look should be there, okay, not the 5-star hotels, not the AC, okay, but it's the natural climate, okay, natural feel is there. I think maximum means accommodation facilities we have to provide to the tourists. Then farmhouse which has the rural look and feel the comfortable along with all the minimum required facilities. Rich resources in agriculture, namely water and plants at the place. Cooking equipments for the cooking food if the tourists have interested. Some tourists will say, okay, we will prepare our food, okay, we will not take from you, okay, so we want to prepare. So we can give them the minimum equipments for cooking, so they will prepare themselves. Then emergency medical cares with the first aid box. Then the well or lake swimming tank for fishing and swimming. I said if the participation is there, they will enjoy more. And if you know the swimming tank or well, I think those know the swimming, okay, they will swim. Otherwise, but I will suggest if don't know the swimming, then don't try, okay, because it is the risk. Then a bullock cart, cattle shed, telephone facilities, a telephone is required, and there should be some range. Otherwise, without mobile, we will not survive. So I think the telephone facilities should be provided. Everybody will have them mobile, but I think range facility should be there. Then these are the basic things I will say. What are the infrastructure is required, and then what are the facilities to be provided. Facilities offer the authentic rural Indian Maharashtrian food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think now everybody is like the rural food actually. ज्याला आपण झुणका भाकरी चालेल, गावठी चिकन चालेल, असं प्रत्येकाला वाटतं की ग्रामीण भागात मला जेवण मिळालं पाहिजे. आता वी एन्जॉयिंग द 5-star hotels, okay, but we are not. When you go in the agro tourism, everybody likes the rural food actually, and which is the authentic food. Then test. Then farmers should offer to see the participant in the agricultural activities. Maybe the so many agriculture activities are there. Okay, plowing, maybe harvesting. Offer an opportunity to participate in the rural games to the tourist. Okay, maybe the kabaddi, langdi, like the rural games. So ground facilities should be provided. Provide information them about the culture, dress, art, crafts, festivals, rural traditions, and also give possible demonstration of some arts. offer bullock cart for riding and horse riding, buffalo ride in the water, fishing facility in your ponds or nearest lake. As I already mentioned regarding the bullock cart. So maybe the horse riding facilities, buffalo riding facilities can be make available to the tourists. Then offer the fruits, corns, groundnuts, sugarcane, and other agro products as per the availability. As I mentioned earlier, actually, they want to purchase to the relatives, friends, like that. They're going to, and if it is the agro products, naturally, the visitors will purchase more. When we goes to the Dhanu area, generally the students purchase the chiku chips, chiku powder, chiku chocolates, and all these are the basic or local products as well as the agro products actually. And we are not getting in urban area, but that is available in the rural or agro tourism center only. Then show them the local birds, animals, and waterfalls, etc., and give the authentic information about them. Then arrange the folk dance program. Okay, folk dancer in the particular areas, there are the separate folk dances. If you go to the Western Maharashtra, there will be the Dol Lejim may be there. Okay, but if you go in the tribal belt or in the Adivasi, there will be the Tarfa Nritya. Okay, and again, I will mention the name of the Savi Nursery or Tarfa Tourism. When the tourists are there, they are organizing the Tarfa dance or the Tarfa dance to the visitors, and then make some agro products to purchase the tourist. So these are the if the facilities we made available to the tourist, I think the tourist will enjoy our agro center. The next is the these are some pictures, but I will not explain already. It's a self-explanatory actually. Some tourists are traveling in the bullock cart. Then rural games are there. Then Tafra Nutyan, as I mentioned, regarding the breakfast, lunch, or dinner. If it is the rural looks or rural prepared, it is urban peoples are actually enjoying this one. Next. Then what are the location of the agrotourism actually? Where we can start the agrotourism center. The location is most important factor for success in agrotourism. The location of the center must easy to arrive and have a good natural background. Urban tourists are interested to enjoying the nature and rural life. So farmers should develop their center in the rural area, only which have a beautiful natural background to attract the urban tourists in your farm. The place of agrotourism center must be easy accessible by roads and railways. Tourists want to enjoy some historical and natural tourist places along with the agrotourism. So when we are going to select the agrotourism center, it should be the accessible, easy accessibility to the tourists, and then only the maximum tourists can be visit to our center. Then next slide is regarding what are the various benefits of the agrotourism center. Agrotourism has a potential to change the economic face of traditional agriculture. The benefits of the agrotourism development are manifold. It would bring many direct and indirect benefits to the farmers and rural people. So first is the employment generation or employment opportunities. If you start the agrotourism, on the face you will see the agrotourism is one occupation, but behind that, so many occupations can be generated. For example, the transport and communication, the rickshaw wala, bus wala, I think they will get the maximum job opportunities or business if the employment, if the means what are the benefits of the first is the employment opportunities to not direct, but there may be in so many indirect benefits to the people in the rural area will generate. The next is the additional income source. Okay, you know the agriculture is the seasonal occupation. Once only one in the Konkan region we have only one crop in 1 year, and remaining months there is no activity. But if any farmers start the agrotourism center at their local level, I think they will get the additional income source to the farmers actually. Then cultural transformation between the urban and rural people, including social and moral values, because there is a different culture in the urban as well as the rural area. Both cultures are different. And when we see the culture of the urban cities and when students go in the rural area, and if they are going to behave like that, I think local peoples will not entertain them, because culture of the rural areas is different. Even after 6 o'clock, after 7 o'clock, you will not move in the villages with the boys and girls together. But that is not case in the urban area. In urban area, generally we generally come out of the home at 7 o'clock only. Okay, not before the 7, but in that culture, there are so many examples we can use. So culture transformation between the urban. So we can learn what is the culture of urban, culture of the rural people, culture of the tribal people. So through the this agrotourism, I will say. Then improvement of the in the standard of living, as everybody knows, the income. If the farmers are getting the additional income, and basically standard of living is depend on your income. So naturally, if the farmers get some additional income, so there will be improvement in the standard of living. Then benefits to the urban people, actually people, they can understand about the rural life and know about the agriculture activities. Just I will give the one example. When we take the students to the rural area, and basically just take the example, identification of the crops, पिकांची ओळख. कोणतं पीक कसं असतं मित्रांनो, ते सांगणं त्यांना बरंच जड जातं खरं सांगायचं म्हणजे. आणि म्हणून म्हणलं की दिस इज द बेनिफिट टू द अर्बन स्टुडंट्स और अर्बन पीपल. दे विल अवेअर ऑफ दॅट हाऊ द क्रॉप्स grown. Okay, just we are consuming it, we are enjoying in the urban area, but we are not aware of that, how the products, how that gets prepared. So benefits to the urban people also. It support for the rural and agricultural development process. So directly or indirectly, it is a benefit to the rural development, because what is the development actually? The all around basically economical, when we say the economical development, then basically if the farmers get additional income, so there will be help to the rural development. And then help to the reduce burden on the other traditional tourist centers. There is such burden on the tourist center, which are the traditional. I will give the example in the COVID-19, after COVID-19, as Raj sir mentioned, now there are some activities are initiated, some activities are started. And in the last month only, we were at Alibag, and not a single hotel is vacant now. All the hotels are full. It means, where is the tourist center? If the agrotourism started, I will say reduce burden on the other tourist places. Those are the prominent tourist places, I will say, maybe the Mathura, Mahabaleshwar, or as Goa. Already Russ has shown the Goa picture of Goa, and actually we generally want to go and enjoy, correct? No? But sir, hotels should be available, because now all the hotels are full. Okay, after the Merry Christmas or in the month of December. But I think if the agrotourisms are there, I will say the Goa's burden will be reduced due to the agrotourism. Then what are the as these are the benefits, but there are some issues or some problems faced by the agrotourism also, and therefore as compared to other countries, I will say, because when the Madhvi sir has given the introduction regarding I visited to the 3 countries, but in 2002 I visited to the New Zealand. And if you see the New Zealand, actually that tourism is the main industry, we will say they develop very nicely, but that much we have not developed in Maharashtra or in India also. We'll say maybe there are so many tourist places are there. You can say the forts are there, rivers, whatever it may be, but not developed. And what are the problems we face actually? So lack of perfect knowledge about the agrotourism. Actually, Maharashtra has the greater potential of the development of agrotourism center due to the good natural and climatic condition. But there are some problems in the process of agrotourism development in the state. And these are the challenges actually: lack of perfect knowledge about the agrotourism, lack of commercial approach of the small farmers. Now, what is our approach actually? We are doing the agriculture, no doubt. But how we are doing actually, this is a subsistence agriculture, subsistence. उदरनिर्वाहाची शेती, स्वतःच्या उदरनिर्वाहापुरती करणं, बाकी कमर्शियल अप्रोच नसणं. So that is the lack of commercial approach of the farmers actually, and there is no allied activities to agriculture also. But I will say the agrotourism, we can say the allied activities to agriculture, but lack of commercial approach of our farmers, then lack of capital to develop the infrastructure. As I mentioned, all the infrastructure should be available, then the maximum tourists will be attracted. But for that, I want to say there should be capital for the development, maybe the fixed capital, maybe the variable capital, but capital should be available, and we are lacking in the capital. Then ignorance by the farmers towards the such activities. The farmers also not aware of such activities, and therefore in the introduction only I said that is not developed as much agrotourism centers in Maharashtra. And again, this is the unorganized sector actually, unorganized sector of the agrotourism. And if the unorganized sector, I think there are more problems to develop any industry. Then problems faced by then what are the key techniques to success? Okay, if I want to success the agrotourism, what are the techniques to success the agrotourism? So agrotourism is one of the business activity. So farmers must have commercial mindset and some marketing techniques for the success. For example, give the wide publicity of your tourism center by newspaper, television, etc. All the possible advertisement means. And nowadays there are actually so many platforms. Okay, social media. Hello, I am audible, sir, madam. Is it okay? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay.
Kindly others mute their mic, please.
Okay. No, I will do within 5-10 minutes. I will not take more time. Okay, I think
Yes, sir.
audience are bored. I think correct. No, they're just
Usually chatting in the chat box that it is very informative.
Acha. I am not looking the chat box. Just okay, but after I will see that. Okay, madam, please.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So key techniques for success of the agrotourism. So now nowadays there are so many platforms are available. Instagram is there, WhatsApp is there, so many groups are there. So we can give the wide publicity through the advertisement using the all various platforms. Contact with the educational institutions. As we are from the educational field, everybody knows there is the industrial visit, IV, correct, no, sir? IV, and where we goes actually, and the IV operators, they're coming to the college, correct, no? And they're giving the quotation saying, sir, we'll provide all these facilities and all that. But now see, just in the business point of view, okay, at the one point center, in the one college, they're getting the 300, 400, 500 clients or students. So if we contact to the educational institutions, I think there will be good response. Okay, and now what is the trend actually? You will not believe, but actually for the school children are going abroad for the actually IVs, industrial visit, and this is the new trends coming in India also. So there is a very scope for that. Okay, very scope for the tourism center. Training of the staff for the hospitality. Our staff should be trained staff. Okay, how to means receive the customer. That is also very important. So training of the staff, but we have the lack of manpower or lack of trained staff, I will say. Okay, and this is the skill job, I will say, because you have to present yourself. So training of staff for the hospitality, then understanding customer needs, actually what the customers require, and according to the customer's requirement, if we provide them, I think there will be the much response. Then provision of authentic rural environment. Okay, it should be the rural touch. Okay, I will say the atmosphere also the rural touch, and then only because everybody enjoying the urban, okay, urban areas or cities area, but everybody likes the rural environment for few days. Okay, not for the continuous days, I will say, but for the few days they require the rural environment. Then must have the commercial mindset. When providing the facilities, we are not going to provide free of charge, but if you pay, if you give the good services in the market, people are ready to pay for you. Okay, but we have to give the good service, and then people are ready to pay for that. So must have the commercial mindset, and then use of the appropriate marketing techniques. Okay, because marketing techniques is very important when you do any business, because marketing is very इम्पॉर्टंट. म्हणजे म्हटलं जातं की जो बोलतो त्याचं काही खपू शकतं बाजारामध्ये, जो बोलणार नाही त्याचं काही खपणार नाही खरं. आणि म्हणून व्हेरियस टेक्निक्स वी कॅन यूज फॉर द develop the center actually. Then before that, there are so many points actually to develop your website and update time to time for the attract the for tourists actually. If you develop your website, I will say nowadays, okay, website is the social media, or everybody is looking the website, and if you can develop your website, take their feedback and comments about the service and suggestions to more development and modification. You can take the feedback also, feedback from the tourist. Okay, how you feel, is there any suggestion? Okay, so if the feedback is there, there is a scope for the improvement. Okay, so you can take the feedback from the tourist and develop the good relation with the tourist for future business and chain publicity. And best is the mouth publicity, correct? Mouth publicity is the best platform, I will say. लोकांनी सांगितल्यावर लोक विश्वास ठेवतात. लक्षात घ्यायचा म्हणजे पेपरमध्ये वाचून ॲडव्हर्टाईज पाहून, त्यापेक्षा कोणीतरी सांगितलं की आय एन्जॉयड अ लॉट. ओके, that center is very good. If the mouth publicity is there, then I think there will be the good response. So develop the different agrotourism packages for the different type of tourists and their expectations. Group करो. You can, according to the age, only the ladies group, बरोबर ना, आता winner tours असतील, केसरी tours असतील, like honeymoon tour. There are different types of, they are doing the groups, and according to that attract the tourist. So you can develop the different agro tour packages for different age group tourists and their expectation. Preserve an address book and comments of the visitors tourists for future tourism business. You can keep the address book. There's a visitors book up until like a visitors book in the colleges. Some dignitaries come in the college, we keep the visitors book and he gives some message. Okay, so that context can be used for the next year also we can. And then be essentially with the tourist and participate with them. So I think these are the key techniques to get develop the agrotourism center. And then this is the second last slide I will say. But if you want to success, okay, in that agrotourism, the 10 commandments of the good services. Guests are the most important people in any business. Guests are the very important, because in the market we say customer is the king. Okay, customer is the king actually. Why we say like that? Grahaka Raja. Why we say like that? Because where to purchase, how to purchase, when to purchase, how much to purchase, all that is decided by the customer only. Owner can't decide. Okay. So guests are the most important people in any business. So I will say the agrotourism is the business. Okay. And in the business, customer is the guest, and they are very important factor. Guests are not dependent on us. We are dependent on them. Okay. They are not dependent on us. Okay. Because we are dependent, because if I want to generate some income, I think so we are dependent on them. Guests to do a favor when they call, we are not doing them favor, because we are not providing free of charge. Okay, this is not the service, this is not the seva. We are charging for them. We are, and therefore guests do us favor. They are doing favor to us. We are not doing favor to them. Then guests are part of our business. They are not outsiders, because when they are coming to your tourist center, they are the partners, or they are the our guests, or they are not the outsiders. Okay, because you have to treat them, they are as a partner like that. Guests are not cold static. They are the human beings with the feeling and emotion like our own, because guests are the human beings and they have some emotions, they have some expectations, and according to them, if we fulfill their expectation, I think they will enjoy again and they will come again and again. Guests are those who have bring us their wants. It is our job to fill those wants. Okay, they have some wants actually, and our duty, our job is to fulfill that wants actually. Guests are deserving of the most courteous and the attentive treatment we can give them. Guests are the lifeblood of the farm and ranch recreation business. Guests are not interruption of our work. They are the purpose of it. They are coming to serve for some purpose. Okay, and then we have to serve that purpose. Means if they come for the entertainment, if they come for the calmness, then we have to serve that purpose. And if we serve the purpose, I think they will enjoy the agrotourism center. As I earlier said, the impact of the agrotourism, okay, I will not discuss, or I will not say anything on that, because Principal Thakur sir, as well as the today's keynote speaker, Rath sir, also spoke in detail regarding the impact of COVID-19 on agrotourism. But COVID-19 pandemic has a huge impact on the tourism industry due to the resulting travel restrictions as well as the slump in demand among the travelers. The tourism industry has been massively affected by the spread of coronavirus, as many countries have introduced travel restrictions in an attempt to contain its spread. So actually, in the summary, I will say actually, due to the COVID-19, not only the travel industry, not only the agrotourism, not only the educational institutions, but everybody has impact. Everybody has impact. Take at the individual level. Okay, if you go the individual level, if you go the organization level, there is the impact of this COVID-19. So tourism and hospitality is one of the factors, but as the individual level, so everybody has impact, direct or indirectly. This is the last slide, friends. Actually, this is the Maharashtra Rajya Krishi व Gramin Pariyatan Sahkari Mahasangh Maryadit. So these are the some activities are shown here actually, what we can introduce in the agrotourism. And then there is the one training actually, training to start the agrotourism center. If anybody want from the participants or students, I will say, there is a training center. There is a training Krishi Paratan Satra Prashikshan from the 11th, 12th, 11th, 12th, and 13th February. It is at Mulshi Krishi Paratan Kendra Mukam Post Ambadwet Taluka Mulshi Jilla Pune, and this is for the 3 days. Actually, they are going to organize. If for the trainings, then that is the what is the fee actually? Fee for 3 days, that is 7,000 is fee for the training. Next. Okay. So what are the topics they are going to cover in this training period for the 3 days actually? Krishi Paratan Kendra Ubarne Arakada. If anybody want to start the agro-tourism center, how you can plan that? Okay, plan the agro-tourism center. Then Krishi Paratan Kendra Ubarne Artha Sahya Margdarshan Prakalpa Ahwal project report. Okay, as I said, if anybody want to start the business, we require the capital. We require the capital, maybe the fixed capital or variable capital, but there are the loan facilities from the various banks. Okay, so how the loan can be obtained from the various banks, they are going to guide in this training program. Then Krishi Parankanati other Tithya Vyavasthapan, how to receive the guest. As I said, guest is the god. Upon other Tithya Hijamanto Lakshat Gya ki Krishi Paratan Kendratil other Tithya Vyavasthapan, how to that is also training will be there. Then Krishi Paratan Kendra's marketing, how to market your product. That is very important. So I will say the agro-tourism is also my product, and how you are going to market that. That is also very important. And that what is the agro-tourism policy 2020. Then and last regarding the what are the benefits of the agro-tourism. So this is the training for 3 days. I mean, I am not doing the marketing of them, okay, but just it is related to my topic, and therefore I got some information, and therefore I'm sharing, okay, but I am not doing the marketing on behalf of them, but just it is related to the topic. And in the month of February only, okay, now today is the 29th, and in the month of February 11th, 12th, and 13th, there is one training program which is organized by Mart. So if anybody want to take part in this training, actually they can. Okay, so I think this is the presentation. What I as in the beginning I said, I am a student of rural development. I am not a scholar, I am not an expert, but what I given or what I spoke, if anything mistake or if it's wrong, please excuse me, sir. And thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for such an informative lecture, sir. So we are really grateful that you took time out of your busy schedule, and we could listen to you, which gave us a new insight on agro-tourism. Sir, the new ideas that you have suggested to us to start agro-tourism will definitely encourage people who are already in this tourism industry. Thank you so much, sir. The feedback, there is a
Form.
yes, sir. The feedback form, Google form link is provided in the chat box, and I suppose you have also received the link on the Telegram group. So the e-certificate will be provided on filling the feedback forms. We also have few questions in the chat box. So I request Dr. Girish Gund sir to please ask the questions to the resource person on behalf of the participants. The participants have few questions. So on behalf of them, Dr. Girish Gund sir will ask the questions to the resource person. Over to you, Girish Gund sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm very thankful to you, sir, on the behalf of participant for your wonderful presentation and insightful explanation, which has been mentioned by the participant in the chat box. There are few questions, but due to time limit, I will ask one question. The question is that, is our government promotes agro-tourism? If yes, then how?
Dr. Rath sir will answer. Or hello, Rath sir. Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, you can answer, sir.
Yeah. Okay, as I mentioned, sir, actually regarding the promotion or the how the government will help. Okay, but I will suggest, even if we don't start, the financial help can be provided from the banks. Okay, by the loan facilities, I think we can develop this one. But there is no special grants or like that, no. But we have to take the permission of the government to start this agro-tourism center. If the permission is there, I think it is always useful. Okay, because in the Dhanu, I mentioned already also Savi Nursery Farm, they have taken the permission, so and they have started it. But if the financial help, actually government will not provide, but I think the banks will provide the financial loans for that, sir. Over.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now
Can I
I
add?
request
Can I
Assistant
add? Can I add something to?
request.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Raj, sir, please add something. Okay, please. Over to you.
Power sir has given nice answer, but agrotourism, as it has not been recognized as an industry by the respective state governments, so we should do effort, especially the Rural Development Ministry should take up this case to recognize agrotourism also as an industry, and they should provide first and foremost the subsidized loan. Second one, easy processing of licensing. For ecotourism, they have been providing the subsidies, but for agrotourism, they have not started. I think it is the need of the hour that they should provide the subsidy and they should remove the license raj from this agrotourism industry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I hope the question answer session is ended here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So with this, we come to the end of the program, and I request Assistant Professor Sonu Tanwar Madam to propose vote of thanks.
Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all. All the respected dignitaries and participants present on the online platform for the national webinar on impact of COVID-19 pandemic on tourism, organized by the Department of Geography and Rural Development in association with IQAC of Mahatma Phule ASC College, Panvel. It is a privilege and a great joy for me to extend a vote of thanks to all those who have contributed for the successful organization of this webinar. At the outset, I express my deep sense of gratitude towards today's keynote speaker and resource person of this webinar. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Dr. Prabir Kumar Rath sir for accepting our invitation and delivered the keynote address. Sir, you blessed this occasion with your scholarly talk on impact of COVID-19 pandemic on tourism. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable time and views with us. I'm also thankful to resource person, Honorable Dr. D.V. Pawar, sir, who shared a deep sense of knowledge about agrotourism and supported this webinar by all means and enlightened the occasion with his talk during the webinar. I sincerely put on record my gratefulness to our dynamic and visionary Principal Honorable Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir for his motivation and guidance in chalking out all the formalities of the webinar. Thank you, sir, for your support and faith. I'm very much thankful to Mr. S.L. Gove sir, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Ramesh Mahatre sir, Convener and Head of Department of Rural and Development, and Dr. Rajaram Patil sir, Organizing Secretary and Head of Department of Geography, and Dr. N.R. Madvi sir, Vice Principal, for organizing this webinar. I should be thankful to our technical team and Dr. Leena Meshram ma'am to coordinate this webinar successfully. I must say thank you to our teaching fraternity and their active involvement and contribution for making this function a happening event. I must appreciate and mention the involvement of the participants from various states of India. I'm grateful to all the participants who made the webinar a happening reality. Thank you all once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam, and thank you, sir. Sir, धन्यवाद परत एकदा.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. संधी दिल्याबद्दल.
Thank you, every one of you, for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, sir.